Alright guys, what is up? My name is Steve, SBT_media, as you guys know from Instagram, and today we're going to be jumping into Lightroom, and I'm going to teach you guys a tutorial on how I edit my photos, how I do the lighting, the colors, all that sort of stuff. I know a lot of you guys have been asking me about editing photos and editing videos and things like that, and I just wanted to sit down and just make my first tutorial today. I hope you guys enjoy this. Try to be patient with me because this is my first video that I'm actually doing a tutorial on, so just hope you guys find it helpful and enjoyable. So let's go ahead and jump straight into Lightroom. The photo I want to edit is this one right here. I believe I want to edit this one, or yeah, I like this one. So I'll show you guys the original photo that we're starting with. This is the final version of the photo, and this is the original photo that we're going to be starting with. So you can obtain this file through Google Drive. I'll share the link down below in the description, and you can kind of edit it along with me if you want and try to achieve the same type of edit I do, or you can even mess around with it and do it your own way. You know, think creatively, go through the creative process. I'm just going to show you guys how I do it and what my process is. We're just going to edit the colors, the shadows, and the lighting and things like that. I really want to add something to my hand, like some type of animation or something like that in Photoshop later, but we'll probably do that in another video because that's going to take a little bit of time and it's more detailed than just doing the colors and shadows. So let's get straight into editing this photo. So for like every photo you edit, you pretty much have a main goal with what you're trying to achieve in that photo, or what type of mood you're trying to set. So like with this photo, you can see I'm trying to be like kind of like an assassin. I mean, if you look at all these other photos, I was trying to go for like a dark type of mood, but with this one I really want to aim like a very dark and like scary type of mood, kind of like I'm an assassin or something like that. And I know it sounds stupid, but that's what I'm trying to aim for in this one. So I think I'm gonna make my face pretty dark so that they can't see my face. You can only see the shadows or whatever of my face. And so the first thing we're gonna jump into, I guess, is exposure. That's the first thing on the list. And exposure, I mean, this one's pretty good. I like how bright it is, but you can always set it to what you want. You can go darker if that's what you're looking for, or brighter, and you can pretty much see everything, every bit of my face, but that's not what I'm looking for. So you can always just double click this to reset it to what it was. Before I even get into any of this, I usually mess with the tone curve right here. The tone curve pretty much gives you your highlights, shadows, contrast, all of that in just easily in this curve. It might be hard for some beginners to understand what it is, but pretty much what it is if you set a point right there, that's for your shadows. Set a point up here for your highlights, and then a point in the middle is where you can like adjust like contrast and like more dramatic effect of the picture. I can bring down my shadows right here, as you see. Make those whites a little brighter. That's my highlights at the top right there. I kind of like that right there. And then this middle one pretty much makes this effect like even more crazy. So you can see like my shadows got even more shadowier and my highlights got more highlightier when I raise this up like that. If I go down, it gives this more faded type of look, but that's not what I'm looking for. Without even trying to mask my face, is already pretty dark. You can't even see me. I mean, this is all I want to do with that. I mean, you can raise this a little bit. It gives it more of a film look, and you raise the end of the tail right there of the tone curve. Kind of like that actually. Then I come back up to all of this right here, the exposure, contrast, and all that. And I mean, really, I already achieved what I really want with this photo, but you can always mess with the highlights. So yeah, you can make the highlights just go super down like that, make those brighter parts less bright, or make it super bright like this. You kind of don't even know what's going on in the background there. You can't even tell. It just looks like I'm coming out of like the heavens or something. You can see I can still raise the shadows and see my face and everything that I'm wearing, but I'm gonna lower the shadows a little bit there so that you can't see my face. And then the whites, sometimes I like to mess with the whites and blacks. It's better than messing with the highlights, just to achieve a more glossy type of look. And the blacks to raise the shadows too. I mean, it's almost the same thing, but not really. You can always mess around with it and see what it does, but it's very similar to shadows and highlights. That's what I do with that. And then there's right here the texture, clarity, and dehaze. Dehaze pretty much, you can make that actually looks kind of cool, but makes everything hazy. Clarity, I don't really like it a lot, but you raise it to just achieve this effect. It gives a more sharper feeling to the photo, more gritty type of look. The texture, you can see you can make it blurry or make it more texturized, more sharp. I'm gonna leave that how it is. I might raise clarity just barely, so my hand gets a more dramatic effect. I think that's what I'm gonna do with that, and then you can mess with like color. And here we have the temperature. I always come to this stuff later, like I don't mess with it right away. I come to the color part of it later. There's also saturation and vibration, but I don't really mess with that either. Usually the camera takes it pretty good saturation and stuff. But you can see I can make my temperature warmer or cooler. I honestly like more cooler in this one, but I'm not gonna make it too cool. I kind of like how the image was shot as. The tint, either you make it more green or more pinkish or purplish. That's what the tint does. And when you combine the two, it kind of does a different thing, but that's pretty much the basics of that. I like where it was at. I mean, for this image, that's all I want. Some images, you definitely want to change it. If you want to make it warmer, it's a really cloudy day and there's like no sunlight outside, and you can really tell it's cloudy and it's not sunny at all, then you can change the temperature up a little more to the right and make it a little more, warmer. It's one way I combat like cloudiness and rainy days, because you can just raise this temperature and make it look like it was a sunny day outside. If we scroll down, we come to color. This is where you actually mess with all the colors, and you can change the hues and change the blues to like aqua, make it teal and orange. And also, if you come all the way down, there's this thing called calibration, and you can pretty much, if you're looking for that teal and orange look like I do with a lot of my photos, you can change the hue right here, this blue right here, and change it to the left, and it gives that blue and pinkish type of vibe, or dark orange. And then you can even raise the saturation to increase that effect. It makes it really red when you do that. I don't really like doing too much of this, but I do it just a little bit. You can make the hue totally to the left and decrease the saturation, and it kind of gives a really nice type of cool effect right here, where it's not too orange and too bluish. You get this type of dark type of look. The more you increase saturation, the more your hand becomes red, orange. And there's also this one for the greens. You can change the greens to yellows, and that's like one way you can change the grass color to yellow. If you want to change the grass or the tree color from green, you can change it from green to orange with this one. And then even the red's just a way of, it's all preference at the end of the day. Like, what do you think looks cool? Yeah, I really like it right there. Ooh, that looks kind of cool. It all matters like what your goal is with the photo. I'm gonna leave it like right about there. And then if you come back up, you can actually mess with each of the colors, like the yellow, the orange. Like say the orange, you want to change the orange to red, you can do that right there, but I'm not doing that. And then the blues, you can even make it more like greenish, aqua-ish, and you can change that to more aqua or darker blue. I'm gonna leave it how it is because I like what it looks like. Sometimes you just don't want to mess with the photo too much. But as far as lighting and color goes with this picture, I like how it is. Let's see what happens if we mess with the saturation. Kind of makes my hand really red. I like how the saturation is. I don't really want to mess with it too much. And as you see, if you put down the vibrance all the way, it takes out all the color of the photo. Same with saturation. Sometimes I like, for like a black and white look, I like taking the vibrance down instead of the saturation. I like it right there. I'm pretty much kind of done with this photo. There's more that you can do to this photo. As you see, this little radial filter right here, if you select that, you can select, just reset this back to 0. Like say I want to make my face even more darker, so where you can't even see my face at all, make sure you click invert so that it's selecting the inside of this. See how I can decrease it, increase it, just that little part of the circle. So this is really cool because you can just select certain parts of the photo that you want to make darker or make it brighter. And then the feathering right here, this is pretty much like blending it in with the photo so it doesn't look awkward. Like doesn't look so noticeable that you made a circle and you made that whole circle darker or whatever. The feathering kind of blends it in with the original photo. So I like to usually do it like 30 to 50, 33 to 50 or something. But you got to mess with it for each photo. Now you can't even see my face. I think I want to make my hand a little more brighter. So I'm going to do that. I don't know why it always goes to 1. So invert to select what's inside of the circle. If you don't do that, if you don't click invert, it's going to mess with the stuff outside of the circle. So make sure you click invert. Just increase the shadows a little bit. If you do exposure, it's kind of like too bright, but if you want to just increase those dark areas of my hand, just click the shadows. It's very useful. So yeah, I think I like it right there. You definitely know I'm gonna put something in my hand in Photoshop, so, and it's gonna be bright, so I kind of want my hand to be bright for that. Otherwise, if I have something in my hand that's bright and my hand isn't bright enough, it's not gonna match in Photoshop. So you definitely want to know what you're going for. There's more to Lightroom. I'm not trying to give the whole like introduction to Lightroom type of thing. I'm just trying to tell you how I edit my photos, how I would edit this photo in particular. Just going through step by step my brain process and like how I'm editing and things like that, why I do the certain things I do. That was pretty much the aim of this video, and I just wanted to, you know, explain my creative process and how I edit photos. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is the final photo. You can see the before and after. We made our face darker. We made our hands a little more contrasty. The top, we kind of increased the brightness over there, and then the overall the photo is pretty much more contrasted. And then we got the teal and orange type of look because that's what I was going for in this photo. And then later in Photoshop we're gonna pretty much add, you know, effects to my hand, and maybe I'll be throwing a fireball or something like that. But anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you guys want to see more, just go ahead and comment below and let me know. Like the video if you can, guys. Share it. Just let me know. Give me any type of feedback, anything I can improve on. This is my first tutorial and I'm recording in my room with my parents downstairs, so it's kind of awkward, you know, doing this, but kind of have to keep the door shut in the back. But anyway, stay tuned, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed.